And this is another one with small print. My name is Susan Harrison, and I've been employed with Delphi for the last 7 years and love being at Oracle. I do several different jobs at this time. I teach developmental preschool classes and the special education preschool coordinator. I am the corporation deaf and hard of hearing teacher, and for the last 2 years have mentored the special education teachers at the elementary. At present, I'm compensated for my regular teaching position, mentoring the other teachers and being the special education preschool coordinator. However, I'm not compensated for being the corporation deaf and hard of hearing teacher. This position requires outside training that is not covered by the school, and many times they are held outside of school contract hours, such as evenings and on Saturdays. In order to complete the training that I need to, I am taking time away from my family. And the reason she's not here tonight, she's helping her daughter, who's a senior in high school, work on a project that's due tomorrow. I enjoy the willingness of everyone has to help with issues that arise. The special education team at the elementary is working as a team, and I feel the students are benefiting from that. I also feel like the administration listens to what is being said. They may not always agree, but they listen and are able to help me see why something will or will not work. One of my big concerns for my family is that before COVID, we were able to meet our monthly living expenses and have money left over to do a few fun things. However, since COVID, everything has become extremely more expensive. So covering the monthly cost of utilities and groceries takes everything that I make. There is no longer enough left to do even the small fun things. I understand that the school is not responsible for inflation that has occurred in the past few years. However, when new teachers are hired making just a few $100s less than I do, I think there is a problem. I do not feel that the rate of pay increase covers the cost of inflation going on everywhere else. I am lucky there is a preschool grant that covers a lot of the items in my rooms. However, there are things that are in my classroom that my husband and I cover because we cannot buy them with the grant. A large portion of what I spend is for snacks for my students. They range in ages between 3 and 5 years, so having a snack is imperative even though breakfast is offered as soon as they get there. There are things I purchase off Teachers Pay Teachers to enhance my lessons that are paid at my expense because the school will not reimburse me money for that. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I love working for Delphi Community School Corporation, doing things that I do. But many school corporations around us pay teachers a higher salary, and we are losing great teachers because of it. Thank you so much for listening, Susan. This is from Mrs. Robinette. She teaches 4th grade. And she's my niece by marriage. My name is Jamie Robinette, and I'm a 4th grade teacher at TCES. And I appreciate Tim Connor's willingness, oh man, I'm her favorite uncle, to read my letter at the meeting tonight. Overall, I have taught for 12 years, with 9 of them being at Delphi. I started teaching in Monticello, and once I started having children, I knew I needed to get closer to home. I wanted my children to attend to Delphi schools, and I wanted to be able to teach in the school I attended growing up that my children would soon attend. Fast forward to this past year of teaching. In October 2022, my husband lost his job. He was the carrier of our family insurance, and I knew I would not be able to afford the insurance premiums that came out of my paycheck. When I was visiting my son's pediatrician, he mentioned checking into Medicaid insurance. I later applied, and my family was accepted for Medicaid coverage on the salary of a teacher that had been teaching for 11 years. I was below the income threshold for government assistance, and we all qualified for WIC assistance. And my family almost met the income requirements to be eligible for food stamps. With my teacher's salary, I was less than $150 away from meeting that requirement. This past summer, I received my master's degree. I worked towards this degree for 2 years for the sole purpose of the pay raise that it would provide. Although I now have several thousands of dollars in student loans, I feel like this was the right decision to try and to increase my annual salary. In the back of my mind, I also hoped that having my master's degree and high ability certification, I would make myself more marketable, and this part saddens me, if I chose to look elsewhere for a teaching job. As we start this school year, I will tell you that I have contemplated applying for teaching jobs at other school corporations. If I were to leave Delphi, I would be taking my 3 children with me. Delphi is where I want to be, and it is where I want my children to be. I hope that as a teacher, contracts are negotiated, the board will hear our concerns and do what is right for Delphi's teachers. Sincerely, Mrs. Jamie Robinette. This is from Amy Lee. She teaches at the middle school. This is my 11th year of teaching for the Delphi Community School Corporation. I really enjoy teaching science to Delphi middle school students. I love their curiosity and their creativity. However, many of my family and friends have advised me throughout the years to search for other jobs in order to increase my yearly income. I know there was a lot of work put into the last contract to help bring up the salary of the veteran teachers who were being surpassed in salary by new teachers in the corporation. Even with this work, I am at the bottom of the pay scale for teachers with a master's degree. I am currently supplementing my income with benefits from the Indiana WIC program because my salary is not keeping up with the increase in the cost of living. I also worked as a school-age teacher at my children's daycare over the summer. Even with all this, I worry about whether or not I can provide enough food for my family. Thank you for your attention. I hope the progress made in the last contract can continue for the next few years. So those are all the letters. And I will tell you this, like you heard, it was all over a wide variety of experience levels. So now I guess it's my turn. My name's Tim Connor. I'm an outlier of the group. This is my 40th year here. I grew up in a household with a dad who, I was telling the folks back there, he did math on his fingers. He could not write more than his name. And if he signed a contract, I went with him and signed his name because his handwriting was so poor, it embarrassed him. So now here we are 40 years later, and I've had my bachelor's degree and my master's degree, and I am proof what public education can do. It's a game changer. We are like the last bastion of democracy. We take everybody. We aren't like the private schools. We aren't like the parochial schools who pick and choose who they want. We are like the Statue of Liberty. We welcome everyone and try to take them where they are and get them where we hope they can be. And it's been an honor and a privilege to be a part of this community for so long. Matter of fact, I taught so long when my kids were at Camden. We wrote letters to President Reagan, and here I've got a letter that he signed and sent to my students. But when I look at these people that are out here now, I don't see them being here for 40 years. I don't see them being here 30 years. Some of them, I don't see them being here 2 years. Because there is a teacher shortage, and it's not the board's fault. I am telling you right now, the teacher shortage was not created by Delphi Community School Corporation. It was done about 110 miles away from here. And it all started when Governor Daniels and Superintendent Bennett of public schools did away with the salary schedule. And that put the whole world in flux. But now what we have to do is deal with that. because I'm telling you, when I walk through the hallways, it's not the building. Well, there's no one left that was here when I started, except for Mr. German. But the building changes every 4 or 5 years. And the older teachers, the 30-plus teachers, there aren't many of us left. There aren't many of us, Jay. Are there 20 to 30-year teachers left? Yeah. And then you get into the early career, like Miss Hoffman and that group. And then you have the teachers are just first starting out, and they seem to just constantly be revolving, not only here at Delphi, but also at other school corporations in the area. We realize that the board is concerned about us. You said this at a board meeting when the referendum fell, that you would do your best to provide for us. And I believe, if my notes are correct, that Mr. Strasser said that, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. And I have known some of you for as long as what I have been in town. I eat breakfast with you. I eat at McDonald's with you. I know your kids. I work with your spouses. I know that Delphi means as much to you as what it means to me. But I think the huge issue that we have is to work within the parameters, the guidelines that the state has given us. And really, I want to say the state has hamstringed small rural schools. They keep cutting the funding, and that hurts us. And we know that they're not going to get more funding, because I am telling you right now, it is my firm belief that I think the state of Indiana wants to get out of the business of public education. And it's not a business. We talk about Hoosier values and all that kind of stuff. How can you talk about Hoosier values if you do not value the education of our children? We could talk about the soil, we could talk about the climate, we could talk about the industry, but the greatest resource that Indiana has is our children. And so it's my hope that we can all work together as we do and find that common ground and work together, stop this revolving door, try to get people to say, hey, this is Delphi. This is where I want to be. I want to be here 20 years from now. I want to be here 30 years from now. I want to be here 40 years from now, be here so long that people are tired of hearing me talk. That's what I want for our community. It's a great place. It is absolutely, I've said this before, the best things in my life have happened to me because I came to Delphi and got a job here. So we talk about job offers, like I was a man in elementary education. I had 5 job offers in 1 week. And I picked Delphi. And my dad came over and he goes, you know what, Tim? I think this is going to be a nice little town. He goes, I think this is going to be a nice little town for you. And I think my dad was right. And I just want to be a nice little town for everybody else. So thank you very much. We appreciate your time, your concern, and your willingness to work for the common good when it comes to our contract. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Okay, with all the testimony being heard, we will close the public hearing for the SEA 390 collective bargaining. And now I would like to open the public hearing for the 2024 budget, which has to do with A, bus replacement plan, B, capital project plan, and C, the 2024 budget. Mrs. Circle?
Yes. There's no signatures for anybody to speak on this, correct? First of all, legislation has us, we need to have a public hearing on the following pieces of the budget: the bus replacement plan, the capital project plan, and the budget for 2024. We have posted there on our website all of these things. Briefly, I just want to discuss the bus replacement plan. The board has this in their packet. This is by statute, we need to have this. I will mention that as I was going through the plan, you will see a couple gap years because we had 2 years that we did not purchase buses. So I did fix this because it was kind of off. So, one of the buses, A10, is actually going to be absorbed in our diesel class as one of the buses the kids will be working on. We are going to move bus 24, bus 22, bus 9, bus 10, A12, and A13 to sub-buses. We will be selling bus 18 and bus 15. And then we will be adding 2 Thomas buses, which you approved us to purchase in the last board meeting. So any questions on the bus replacement plan? Okay, we will be voting on this in the next board meeting. The next statute that we need to have through Indiana code is a capital project plan. So this is also posted on our website, posted in the buildings, and it has several items that anything that exceeds $10,000 that we are planning on. I went ahead and looked at some of our goals for the 1 year, 5 year, 10 year. So we have roof repairs that I've actually presented to you all that we need to have done. Our normal painting, cosmetic upgrades, carpet replacement, floor replacement in buildings, concrete repair that we are still working on, technology updates and replacements, parking lot seals and striping, athletic facility repair and upgrades, purchase of service vehicles, and repair and upgrade, upgrade a fire alarm cable at the middle school / high school. So, any questions on the capital project plan as presented? Okay, then the notice to the notice to the taxpayer. As you will see, rainy day, our budget estimate, that's just our appropriation in case we have an emergency not planning to spend. We have our debt service, that I have there at $3,737,133. In the debt service, I did go ahead and add in case we decide to move forward with the bond that is presented on this agenda. So that is built in there. The school pension debt, which is starting to fall off, I'm glad to say it's going to be done by the end of this year, so we will be losing that debt. The education, which is not a tax-based program, but we put it on here. And operations, which I asked for the maximum levy on the operations. Again, all of these numbers are inflated because we need to make sure that we receive what we need. There's increase, I factored an increase in insurance, which I'm nervous about. I'm not sure how much the insurance is going to increase, so I added that in. The insurance for property, I added in heavily. And as always, I will be presenting this next month, and then we will vote on it. But then, of course, the DGLF will take a look at the numbers, and they will cut out what we need. So, I also want to comment that the assessed value that I used is less than what we are told by our government that we will receive, just to make sure that we fund our budget. You will always want to go with this. And I gave you detailed information on that. And any questions on this? Questions on anything? No? Okay. And as I said, we will present this for a vote in the next board meeting. Okay.
All right, any other questions on the public hearing for the 2024 budget? Nope. All right, I will close the public hearing for the 2024 budget, and we will continue on with our regular board meeting on number 5 with the superintendent's report. Mrs. Circle, you're back up.
Yes, okay. Mr. Sims is going to give us an update on proven solutions. I believe, Mr. Meyer, you asked for that at the last board meeting.
Yeah, I handed you a little graph there that I had sent a question out to the high school staff. The question that was asked was, please rate the nighttime cleaning of our high school. As you can see there, out of 36 people that responded, 26 said 100% better, vastly better, or better. 5 said same as the past, and 5 said worse. I checked into the 5 that said worse. 2 of those areas, the nighttime shift is not responsible for. One of those areas, which happened to be the health occupation area, had not been cleaned at all, and that was probably a misunderstanding, and now it is being cleaned. So that's where we're at. Questions? Okay.
Did you guys get that? Or did it stop at me?
I think it stopped at you.
You have 3 left. Okay. Next, I just want to call your attention to the amendment of bargaining unit that we are doing. Mr. Connor, Ms. Landis, and I, we met with the representative from, from HERB, going through some of the conflicts we had on our last contract, teacher contract, and one of those was from 2016. The wording on our actual bargaining unit was not the bargaining unit language that was in our contract. So in order to fix that, we have to post what the language was, what the language is going to be changed to. We sent it out to the staff. We posted it in all the workrooms for the teachers, and we need to have that up there for 30 days before we can actually change that correctly. So I just wanted you to understand, because I know I sent it out to all of you, but I wasn't sure you understood why we were doing this. So, any questions on that? No? Thank you. Okay, any questions for the administrators? Ms. Stansberry is ill. She is not here tonight.
Okay. Moving past administrator reports, obviously you get those in your packet, so you can reach out to the administrators if you have any further questions. I'm going to move forward now to routine matters here. I'm going to need a motion for routine matters 6-1, which is consent items, monthly and payroll claims in the amount of $1,238,791.82. Also, the approval of the monthly financial reports as submitted by the treasurer. The employment of certified staff, we had none. The employment of classified staff, we've got several lists there. 6. We have the 2023 to 2024 mentor teachers with a $500 mentee per mentee. Also, the employment of the ECA staff, 6, which would be resignations, terminations, and retirements. And then also 6-7, which is fundraisers and facility usage, and there's quite a few of those listed there as well. So I'd like to get a motion for 6-1 through 7, please.
I move that we approve routine items 6-1 through 6-7.
Second.
All right, any discussion on routine matters 6-1 through 7?
Just a procedural question. Do I have to abstain since I own that? No.
I can poll.
Probably, yeah, we should pull 6G from there.
Okay, so Tim will need to poll 6G.
Okay. Okay. I will change my motion to, we will approve items 6-1 through 6-7, excluding 6G.
6G.
Just to confirm, we did add the 6G, Ms. Lowe.
Thank you.
Okay, got it, okay, okay, got it.
All right, then we need a second on that.
Second.
All right. Was there any other questions on that? Okay. All in favor of routine matters 6-1 through 7, excluding 6G, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. So we'll double back to routine matters 6, letter G. We have a retirement resignation there for Steve Meyer, board member. So I need a motion for that.
So moved. You don't have to second. You just let it ride.
Second, we were just.
All right. Well, let's open that up for discussion then.
Steve, is that effective 12/31, right?
It is,
The very end.
December meeting will be my
Yeah,
last.
12/31.
so he'll finish out the calendar year.
Yeah, calendar year. Okay.
All right. Moving forward, all in favor of 6, letter G, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
Abstained.
Abstained,
One
sorry.
abstain.
One abstain. All right, moving on to number 7, old business. We've got football and track lights. Mr. Dale.
Last meeting, we had discussed this now for a couple months. You guys had asked for some questions to be answered from the installer, from Musco, from several different things. So obviously I've sent you guys some emails with those. I also have a updated quote because I know there was a question, and just to make sure that the dates were all right, I made sure that they sent us an updated one today so that all the dates were expired, as well as that list. So basically the gist of what we're proposing is that, I mean, our football lights, track lights, the last 5 years that they've been in use, they have failed at least once a year. Until 2021, they failed multiple times during competition, which without a bank of lights, you can't play a game. Or you have to completely modify the game and play on one half of the field. I talked to Josh and Kevin, who dealt with it before me, and then obviously 21, 22, and 23, I've been here, and have fought them every year we've tried to use them. As far as some questions that were raised, the panel that was discussed, the east side panel that has the most problems, Musco, knowing that needs to be done, had offered to split the cost of that with us because they are our panel manufacturer. So again, we've talked about that. The specs were a 20 amp panel, and it was commercial grade as opposed to residential, which we have at the moment. The estimates that were asked about if we were to replace the underground wiring, they said at a minimum we're looking at 30 to 40, but obviously they would need to be on the ground and really look more into that, but that is the bare minimum that they saw just to replace the underground wiring. As far as the specifications of what would replace, so the Musco parts that we replaced would be everything at the pole besides the pole. So from the ground up, all the wiring inside, all of the control units inside. Obviously it would switch from incandescent to LEDs, so there's a huge energy savings, as well as you would change to the components that need to drive those. And then basically everything that we have on property besides the west panel and the underground wiring would be replaced at this point. Again, between Custer and Musco, they both believe that will solve our issues. The energy harness side, there was questions about whether, because obviously there is a huge discrepancy there in price. So with the energy harness bid, you're looking at basically just fixtures. You're not changing anything out. We're keeping everything that's on the ground, so there would be added cost if we changed those out. They retrofit on top of the Musco system that's here. And if you look at the quotes that we had from the others, those components are in line price-wise with pretty much everybody we've talked to. A lot of those companies are not sport-specific lighters. Energy Harness would be one of them. They are a company that just does LED lighting, and they have started to expand into the athletic realm. So that's there. Another big issue there, it's only a 5-year warranty. After 5 years, if something goes wrong with those Energy Harness lights, that's a big concern of mine. Whereas the Musco, we would get 25 years of guaranteed quality light. Another thing that I did want to bring up to the table too, Custer and Musco were the exacts. That is who installed our softball lights, and we have had nothing but positive things from them.
Just for clarification, you said 20 amp. It's actually a 200 amp box, right?
Yes, sorry. 20 amp
Just
would be
for the
20 amp
public,
would be way
No,
undersized. Yeah.
just for the public, just.
Yes,
I
it's
know
200
you're-
amp box.
And Chip, you talked about $30,000 to $40,000 to do the underground wiring, but you're also saying we do not need to do that.
That is what they're telling me. They believe that with the amperage drop from incandescent to LED, that the compounding problems that we have been seeing will be solved when they re-terminate those wires and put them in. That they are, that they will be able to handle the load that we're dealing with.
And so the
Will,
rest
just a
of,
second.
Yeah.
Anne Marie's been kicking me in the side because I did not get a motion to talk about this, and I apologize for that. And I don't want Debbie mad at me for that. So
Hey, I'm okay.
I would like to get a motion to continue this discussion of old business for football and track lights.
so no,
Okay, Gil, you can continue. Sorry.
I just wanted to clarify, so this bid is still gonna need to add at least $2,000 for the panels.
Correct.
So is there, I appreciate your email, but I guess I'm still wondering, is that then 100% inclusive of what we're gonna get, or are we still gonna have unknowns?
I don't believe so from what they're telling me. What they're telling me is that when we trade out all these components, that amperage draw is going to drop so significantly that they don't believe that the expansion, the contraction, the heat issues that we've been dealing with will be the same. The last failure we had actually wasn't in the panel itself, it was in the pole. Chris was there when he pulled it out. Basically, there's a disconnect up inside the pole that just exploded. And to me, that's really worrying with the fact that I've basically changed every component out we can on the ground, and now we're still having failures in the lights themselves.
Have we got that new disconnect in yet?
It is not in yet. It is still
bypassed.
bypassed.
You said it's a 25-year guarantee warranty. Is there anything that you can